Hi, I'm Jimmy Butler, and welcome to the Agile Digest, where we have right-sized topics covered in just minutes. Today's topic is splitting Agile user stories. It's about 6 minutes. Enjoy. So this digest assumes that you have a basic working knowledge of user stories. If you don't and want a basic recap, please see the digest titled Writing Agile User Stories. So our basic common format is, as a type of user, I want some functionality so that I can do some purpose. The user story covers the who, the what, and the why. So, for example, as a worker downtown, I want to be able to check the food truck schedule so that I know whether to bring my own lunch. So that's our basic user story format, and that's going to be the basis for which we start talking about splitting. So what is story splitting? Why would we split user stories? In this example, the orange post-it note just simply says submit a session proposal. It's not even written in the typical user story format, but it has an idea out there. And then the yellow post-it notes represent possible story splits where you would individually do add, edit, view, and delete proposals. Now, this may or may not be the right thing here, but why you would split a story is to get something more manageable, something smaller that you can get feedback on, something that you can follow the invest model on, where it's independent and provides individual value that you can make small enough to get done quickly. And so what we're going to explore with some of these patterns is when you might be able to split stories, when it might make sense, and when it might not. So there are 6 story splitting patterns that I'll cover very briefly. The ones that require more attention we'll do digest on. So let's take a look at the workflow steps pattern. So if we have a story that says, as an author, I want to be able to publish my articles so that I can share my subject expertise. Well, publishing the article probably has a good bit of workflow involved, maybe some other users. And so some possible breakouts would be, as an author, I want to submit. As an editor, I want to edit. And as a publisher, I want to receive edited articles, or I want to publish. And so you can see how the workflow pattern might be able to help you break down independent stories that still provide individual business value. Next is the operations pattern. So as an e-commerce site owner, I want to be able to manage products being sold on my site so that I can promote the hottest products. Well, terms like manage are a keyword to note that there's something else going on. What's it mean to manage? So possible splits could be, I want to add, edit products. I want to remove products. We could even further break that down into, I want to add, edit the text, or I want to add, edit photos, which would be a completely different capability. And so you can see that within manage or facilitate or control, there's obviously more operational work that's involved with that and opportunities for splitting. Your business rules variation pattern is one that typically comes out of your acceptance criteria. So as an e-commerce site owner, I want to be able to accept multiple payment types so I can attract more customers. Your acceptance criteria might be that the system accepts PayPal, major credit cards, online check payment. But those could easily be pulled out as independent user stories where they also provide independent value. So this user story then becomes, as an e-commerce site owner, I want to be able to accept PayPal payments so that I can attract PayPal customers, and so on and so forth. The variations in data pattern is typically around different ways that you could search for or find information. So as a restaurant customer, I want to be able to see the distance to a restaurant so that I can choose a restaurant near me. Now I might have different ways to be able to find that out with street address or a zip code or GPS or what have you. And so I can look for patterns like that to possibly split out new stories of, I want to find the nearest restaurants to my street address, for example, or I want to find the ones near my GPS location, and do those independently and individually. The simple to complex pattern is really about minimum viable product. Now this is not a good software development example, but hopefully it gets the point across. Now as a homeowner, I want to be able to mow my grass so that I can have a well-groomed lawn. And so we're looking for the simplest solution. What's a minimum viable product? And we have obviously the manual push, and then we have the motorized push, and then we have the big riding mower, and we have very complex solution to a very simple solution. And so what we're looking for is ways to do this as simply as possible. And the data entry method pattern also is a similar way, where we're looking at the implementation of it, where it's okay in these patterns to start to look at how we would implement something, because we're looking for the simplest solutions. When it's all said and done, the goal is to right-size your stories. And there's no clear-cut rule on when you split, when you don't split. So experiment, split your stories out, see if it makes sense, split them some more, rebuild them back up if you need to. A right-sized story meets the invest model, right? Where it's independent and you can obviously negotiate and get to the right size. It's valuable, you can estimate it. It's the right size and it's testable. If you can do that and the team can get it done within their sprint, then you've done a good job. So have fun with splitting. Well, that concludes this digest. I always welcome your feedback, so please email me at the email address on the screen. Thank you.